Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Texas Gal Treasures. In today's video, we're back in the thrift store and we are looking for things that we're going to pick up to flip for some good profit. I did find some really nice items that have a high sell-through rate that will sell for a good profit. I did find some things that were kind of flops, but I like to look things up while I'm there, and while I've got certain brands open, even if it's not a good buy in the moment, I like to take that information and try to spin it into something positive so I know what to look for, maybe from the same brand or the same type of item when I come back to the thrift store the next time. Let's get started. I actually hit up two different thrift stores in this video. The first one is the Goodwill, and the first thing I noticed here is this cookie jar. There's definitely a bit of a leaning back towards the maximalist and finding cookie jars and things to spruce up your kitchen. And this one is a Christmas cookie jar. It's a cat. I knocked down the Christmas tree. This one is from the brand Threshold, which is a Target brand, which initially I thought, maybe not such a great buy, but this one actually is a pretty good pickup. When I do the research here, I can see that the sell-through rate for this cookie jar is 75%, which is a really great sell-through rate. And the average sold price for this cat cookie jar is about $20. So it's a pretty good pickup if you can get it for the right price. Unfortunately, they wanted $10 for this cookie jar, so that really cuts into the profits. I end up leaving it behind. But I decided that while I was looking up Threshold cookie jars, I thought, let's go ahead and see what else is out there as far as Threshold cookie jars. So if you see one, maybe it's not this cat one, you can pick it up too. So another one that was a hot seller is this white Tyrannosaurus Rex. The sell-through rate's only 40%, but if you look at the average sold price at $35, that's a really good return on investment, especially if you get it for $10 or less. You're looking at $20 or more in profit. And then there are also a couple of other really cute dog cookie jars that Threshold puts out. There are some white ones that look like English Bulldogs or Boston Terriers. And then there's some white ones and blue ones. So basically, if you see any of the dog Threshold cookie jars, take the moment to look them up, because 50% sell-through rate at $25. Again, as long as they're not asking $10 for it, you can make a pretty good profit if you pick it up for a couple bucks. So you can see here, I'm looking it over, and then when I see that $10 price, I think, you know what, never mind. I'm gonna leave that one right there on the shelf. And I just noticed there's a crack in the bottom. Okay, even better. This is an item that I had to trust my gut on. This is one of those glow globe candles. This one's Breckenridge. I need to get a flashlight to light it up so I can really see what it looks like even better. I couldn't find any of these up for sale, but I found a few of like similar style with the mountains, and this is actually the same brand, the one that was the Rocky Mountain one, and they're selling new for around $30. I just had to trust my gut on that one. I went ahead and picked it up even though it was $5. So I'll probably list it for $30 with best offer on it and just see what happens. Now I thought these pink pumpkins, these glass pumpkins, were going to be a really good pickup, but they really weren't. I mean, this one had some cracks and some repairs on it. And I thought, pink pumpkin, people love that kind of stuff. But no, when I looked it up, there were Mikasa ones. The sell-through rate just wasn't that good. And yeah, so I ended up leaving them behind. So let me know if you think that was a big mistake. There are some really, this TJ Maxx one, even though it's TJ Maxx, the yellow and the silver, it's cool looking, but yeah, not a good pickup. And then this I thought was Yadra. It looks like that style, but when I flipped it over and saw that it was Ross, I knew immediately it was like a knockoff Yadro. If you can find actual Yadro figurines, they can sell for a lot of money. So even just looking up Yadro clowns, I see that there's 446 that have sold in the last 90 days. And here are some just of the examples to show you what they look like. You can see how one might mistake the one that I saw for a Yadro clown, but it was not. And here are some of the sold. Some of them are busts, just like the head up, and some are the standing clowns laying down, but they sell for, $100 and something, 176, 179, really good profit. Of course, they make other things, not just clowns, but if you see something in that style, it's worth taking a moment to flip it over, see if it's an actual Yadro. It'll be marked. But here are the clowns. They have a 23% sell-through rate, but the price that they're selling for on average is $86. So while I like a higher sell-through rate, I will pick something like that up because I don't mind waiting for that larger profit margin. Next up, I find this ashtray. I can tell it's a reproduction. It's one of these numbers that, you know, closes over so the ashes don't fly out, I guess, so you can have it outside. I'm not sure. But even the feel of it, you can tell it's really lightweight. It's metal, but you can see where there's a seam. Still pretty cool. So I do pick it up. I couldn't find any quite like it. I saw a couple that had sold. This one has a base on it, sold for about $20. This one sold for about $9. I didn't look it up, honestly, when I was there, but I thought, you know, it's cool enough. I'm going to go ahead and try it, and we'll see what we can do. Now, I need your help with this glass. I can't figure out the name of, you know, because when you list a glass, you want to be able to say what kind of glass it is. Is it a shot glass? Is it a wine glass, martini glass, what have you? I couldn't figure it out. I even did some researching and couldn't decide. It's definitely mid-century modern style, but I couldn't figure out the shape, the name of the shape. Yeah, cocktail bar glass. Also, I couldn't figure out what the brand was on these. They looked like they were higher end, maybe Crate and Barrel, but I'm still not sure. And when I'm looking at mid-century modern, because they kind of gave me that mid-century modern vibe, when I looked up cocktail glasses mid-century modern, there was a 69% sell-through rate with a $37 average sold price, of course, for the set. But they were so cool, I went ahead and picked them up, and we'll see how they do. Next up, this Goodwill has a really great plastic section, and I found this bento box in the plastic section, and it's called Omi box. And when you open it up, it's got all these little bento sections and a little thermos, and you can pack your lunch in there. So these, I never heard of this brand before, but they actually are selling for quite a bit. So here's the Omi box, bento box for kids. It has a 39% sell-through rate with a $20 average sold price. You could even sell the pieces of this box if you find just the thermoses, and they sell pretty well as well. 39% is not a fantastic sell-through rate. Of course, I'd like it to be 50% or higher, but I decided I was going to go ahead and pick it up because they wanted $4 for it. Yeah, I could wait for that. So as you can see, here's a few that have sold, and I selected pre-owned because mine is pre-owned. There were more, so probably the sell-through rate would look better if I had new and pre-owned on there, but because mine was pre-owned, I was trying to narrow it down by that. So about $30. The next item here is this Ski Colorado mug. It's got that vintage style to it. I couldn't find one exactly like it. I found some ski mugs similar, but they weren't Colorado based. So I didn't really have a good feel for what I might be able to get for that. I'll probably end up listing it for anywhere between $15 and $20. Sometimes you just have to trust your gut and see where it goes. And then this Goodwill does not like you looking through the carts that they've rolled out when they're stocking. They kind of fuss at you for it, but I went all in on this puzzle because it was still sealed. And this was I think it's like School of Ornithology or something like that. Cornell Lab Ornithology puzzle. This one wasn't selling for that much, but there are some things from this brand that can sell really well. One of the things from this brand, they have cards, like flashcards. If you find those, they sell really well. Some of the puzzles do okay. So you can see a 34% sell-through rate on the puzzles for $12. I didn't end up getting it because one, it was a smaller puzzle. It wasn't going to sell for that much. And the sell-through rate was a little bit lower than what I wanted for something like that. But here you can see a 72% sell-through rate for some of the Cornell Lab of Ornithology coffee mugs. So that is a winner. So 72% sell-through rate, even though the average sold price is $18. If you can get it for $1 or less, sometimes, don't naysay me, sometimes you can find them at garage sales. And some thrift stores still have their coffee mugs for cheaper. And this is another item that I thought was going to be a win. It's a really big vintage greeting card, and it's got this really crazy colored turkey on it. But when I looked it up, it wasn't selling for that much. If this had been at a garage sale and it was in a bunch of other like vintage greeting cards, then yeah, for sure I would have gotten it. But I mean, I wouldn't have paid more than $1 for it, so it really wasn't selling for that much. Now this is Pink's VIP box from one of her tours, and it looked to be complete inside. So I looked this one up and it was selling for quite a bit, and there are not a lot of them out there. So I was pretty excited to find this one, and it seems like the disc in there is still sealed in the cellophane, as you can see. Is it a disc, a book? I'm not even sure. But I did pick this up. So let's take a look at what kind of prices we can expect to get for something like this. So they wanted $7 for it, and I'm looking at solds here for around the $70 to $80 mark. Sell-through rate here is 85% with a $64 average sold price. So that is a definite winner in my book. And then this is a vintage Atlas Easy Seal jar. It's got that aqua blue color. When I looked it up in the store, I saw some that were selling for a much higher price than when I came back and did the research later. However, there were multiple different sizes, so that might play into it as well. There were some that were clear, some that were aqua. I went ahead and got it, so we'll see how it ends up working out for me. So here are a few that I found that were of the similar size. However, some are not. Mine is not a lightning seal one, so I've got to figure out the distinction between those two. But with some of these larger jars, we're looking at anywhere between $20 and $50 depending. But I need to do a little bit more research on mine to find out where mine falls within this range of Atlas Easy Seal jars. Next up, I find this Oreo scented candle. One of my kids has claimed it, but if I still had it, I would be selling it because I went back and did a little research on this candle, and there were not a lot out there. Some of them were selling from Canada. This one was up for $26, and then there were a couple of others that were up there in the $30 to $50 range for this candle. I wonder if my kid has already lit it. If not, I may be going back in the room and grabbing it up. But here's what I found. I couldn't find a sell-through rate on this, but there's a $22 average sold price. I'm not exactly sure why it doesn't show the sell-through rate on some items when it does like this. There are times when I've searched things on Terapeak and it doesn't show the sell-through rate even though there's items there for it to show. So I'm not sure about that exactly. Next up, I found these vintage Pillsbury Doughboy and Doughgirl, her name is Poppy, salt and pepper shakers. And these are plastic ones. So I've seen the ceramic ones and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give these a shot. They were $1.99 a piece. They may have been something that I should have left behind, but I went ahead and got them anyway because they were a bit nostalgic for me. So you can see these are sold anywhere from $3 to $15. However, this little nesting doll Matryoshka, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. This is from a brand called Fred. And this nesting doll measuring cup is definitely a bolo if you find it. They make a red one and they make a white one, and the red one is the hot one. So let's take a look at what kind of prices, and look at these. They're like in immaculate condition. You can see the measuring sizes down in the bottom. I used to collect nesting dolls, but I decided to sell my collection off. So here are some sold anywhere from $15 to $30 depending. The average sell-through rate on this is 77%, which is fantastic for the red one. And the average sold price is about $20. So good sell-through rate, good price range. The white one, however, is not selling for quite as much. So if you find the white one, definitely look it up. It's a little bit slower, but the red one is the one to be looking for. And here I have switched, and now I'm over at the Arc thrift store, and their shelves are always stacked. I liked this green jar for myself, but I ended up not getting it. So let me know if you see, sometimes you get so junk drunk you can't see what's all on the shelf. So if you see something that I missed, please leave a comment and let me know. Look at these little teeny pictures, aren't they adorable? Yeah, I didn't get them, but you can see the prices at the Arc are usually pretty good, and then on Saturday, the entire store is 50% off, so it's fantastic. I see some figurines in the back, and some of them, well, this one looks like a Hummel, but I don't think it is. It's made in Taiwan. It looks Hummel, but I don't think it's really Hummel. So I put that one back. But these figures in the back, some of them are marked with a made in Japan mark, and I didn't look them up. So let me know if that was a mistake on my part, because I thought maybe I should have. But I think also they wanted a little bit more on these than I wanted to spend. So I left them behind because I really am trying to get my sell-through rate up, because as much as I like finding really cool vintage antique type items, I want things to start selling a little faster. This guy is another, I've sold something from this same brand before, but I ended up leaving him behind as well, even though he was really cool. I was trying to get a better shot of him. So he's cool, he's got a big old cow there, sitting there chilling, smoking his cigarette, but he really wasn't selling for that much, nor were there any solds as far as he was concerned. And this is from a brand, I'm gonna flip it over eventually for you, here we go. The brand is Kinkodo Co., and there were only a few solds from this brand, so I had to leave him behind. As cool as he was, I left him behind. The next thing I found was this pewter eagle. He's got this fish in his talons down there. I do end up picking him up because I generally like picking up pewter figurines. Now, on further research, this is one of those items where things like this used to sell really well all the time, but some of it has really tapered off. So unfortunately, I went with my previous memory of pewter stuff. Pewter figurines sell really well. This guy, not so much. He sells for about $15, but because I don't like to disappoint myself and say, okay, well, I guess all pewter figurines are out now, I've said, no, let me figure out at least one pewter figurine that I know I can still pick up for a good profit. And this is Signed Figurines by Georgia Gerber. The back of the item will look like this. This is Gerber. And they're different animal figurines. They're really little, 62% sell-through rate. But look at that average sold price, $223, you guys. So if you see a pewter figurine with Gerber on the back, a little animal, could be a little mouse or a puppy dog, what have you, you're looking at about $200 plus on the profits there. So definitely snap it up if you see it. If you found this video helpful, go down there and hit the subscribe button, and make sure you leave a comment. Let me know you were here, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.